I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul.
I don't like this, by the way.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab. But at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah.
Guy who finally put an end to this Jake Paul thing, right? If he goes out there and puts Jake Paul in the dirt, he's going to be heralded. He's going to be a hero.
Eddie Hearn recently weighed in on the chatter surrounding a potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. And he didn't mince words. The Matchroom boss warned that Jake is walking straight into the biggest stake of his career by even considering a showdown with Joshua. Hearn stressed that this wouldn't be just another flashy payday or streaming spectacle. It would be a decision with serious consequences. In his view, Joshua's knockout power, experience at the elite level, and overwhelming size would leave Jake completely outmatched. Hearn went as far as saying the fight could bring Jake Paul's boxing ambitions to a brutal and definitive end, pushing the matchup from entertainment territory into something far more dangerous.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world...
New reports across the boxing world suggest that Jake Paul is closing in on a blockbuster heavyweight fight with Anthony Joshua. Targeted for next month in Miami and expected to stream globally on Netflix. This would be the most ambitious leap of Jake Paul's career, as he has never faced a proven, elite heavyweight while. Joshua is a former two-time unified world champion who last competed in September 2024. Eddie Hearn has confirmed that conversations are happening. What was originally an idea for the future has suddenly become much more realistic after Jake Paul's fight with Gervonta Tank Davis was cancelled, with Paul now needing a major opponent. The Joshua matchup has moved from a distant possibility to something that could happen far sooner than anyone expected.
Conversations with myself and Nikita, I think Jake and AJ have spoke as well. You know, from our point of view, if we're going to have a run-out fight, why not run out against Jake Paul, you know, for a lot of money? So there's ongoing conversations there. I can't tell you it's close. I can't tell you we've seen a contract, but if he genuinely wants to fight Anthony Joshua, I don't see why we wouldn't have a chance to do that fight. But, you know, our focus is on really a charge for the World Heavyweight Championship and a charge at Tyson Fury. We can't control that either. So, like I said, that's why I said to you, absolutely.
Hearn has now doubled down on his worries about a possible Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua showdown, making it clear this is not just some flashy crossover event. According to Hearn, the matchup is dangerously one-sided. The difference in size, experience, and sheer punching power isn't just wide, it's enormous. He warns that the risk isn't hypothetical. It's real and it's serious. In fact, Hearn believes a fight like this could do lasting damage to Jake Paul's career, if not end it outright. And while the payday and global attention would be massive, he insists the physical danger alone makes the decision far more complicated than fans might think.
Hey James, quickly, I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions. He's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed-up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go.
Mike Coppinger of The Ring has raised major red flags about the rumored Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, suggesting Jake is chasing the matchup more for the massive payday than for competitive legitimacy. According to Coppinger, negotiations are indeed well advanced, but the deal is stuck behind major broadcast and sanctioning hurdles. He emphasized that Joshua is an entirely different level of opponent. Bigger, stronger, more experienced, and the size of the mismatch brings real safety risks for Paul. Coppinger's reporting highlights that while the commercial appeal is undeniable, the fight could seriously damage Paul's boxing credibility and possibly put his health on the line as of now. It's still unclear whether the bout would be sanctioned as a professional fight or treated as an exhibition. No official terms have been released, and major questions remain. Will it count on their records? Who will regulate it? And what rules would even make this matchup safe?
The breaking story on Ring Magazine: Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are finalizing a deal for a heavyweight fight on Netflix in December in Miami. Sources tell the Ring Magazine's Mike Coppinger. What do you make of that?
Well, Anthony Joshua is talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua will see it, and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way.
I don't like it
No,
either.
I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah, definitely not.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be licensed because it's a really dangerous fight.
Do we know if it's an exhibition or a real fight?
We don't know yet, but I don't think they should be allowing Anthony Joshua in a ring with Jake Paul. It's dangerous for him.
It can't be a real fight, because if it's a real fight, Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul's head clean off. So it can't be a real fight.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
I don't
want
to see a man decapitated in Miami in a ring in December.
Listen, and that's what will happen. So,
is Jake Paul taking on the impossible with Anthony Joshua, or is this the kind of wild matchup that keeps boxing alive? Let me know what you think in the comments below.